For April the 18th, 2014, we talk about Rocksmith 2014, The Elder Scrolls Online, and we ask you about your favorite minigames. Welcome to the 58th level. My name is Kole Ross.
I'm Dennis Furia.
My name is David Moneysmith.
And I'm Ben Merkel.
And you are listening to The Level. It's a podcast for people who love video games. Thank you so much for joining us here. I want to ask you guys, my co-hosts, have you done anything cool this week?
I went to a restaurant opening, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and consequently, you are, let's say, in your cups.
I wanted to ask if I sounded drunk when I said my name.
You know, if you have to ask.
So no? It's good? Did I do it?
Yeah.
Did I do it right?
Yep.
No, there's a restaurant that opened in my neighborhood, so I went there and supported them mostly by drinking beer before I came here.
On a coupon.
But there was a coupon for... Yeah, it was basically like get a pizza and all the beer is free. And all the beer meant literally all the beer. Like, I've never... This is the largest... Like, the pitcher was literally 5 full 24-ounce glasses of beer. Like, it was intense.
Yeah,
Stepping back a moment, did you say you had a coupon?
No, coupon. I did not say that.
Yes, you did.
No, coupon. I reject your reality and substitute my own.
Wow.
Where I said substitute right.
Substitute.
Cole edited Dennis saying coupon right after he said no.
All right.
Please do this.
Drop the marker.
We know he's not truly far gone until he reverts to the Stitch voice, though.
Don't plant that idea.
No.
You're playing.
I'm not truly angry. For anyone who doesn't know me and has not seen me like in my most enraged form, my throat like seizes up when I'm truly enraged about something, and I sound like Stitch, which makes it impossible for anyone to take me seriously while I am at my angriest.
It's like you're allergic to anger. Your throat closes up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably an excellent comparison. Yeah, words. So enough about me and my alcohol levels.
I think your back's now at about 2.5 syllables. So let's all try and manage this.
Yep.
Man,
Simple English.
Is this what I sound like? Okay. So let's look here. Yeah, no, supporting local businesses. Neat. I put up a new article on Hexcrank after 2 months. Yeah, Dark Souls, like, I'm just now like a month out realizing like what craters Dark Souls 2 is like blown in my life. It's kind of like just surveying the aftermath. We have like people walking around like tagging stuff, like picking up half of teddy bears and handing it to little ash covered girls. It's just like it's nuts. And so
you were not sufficiently prepared to die?
I wasn't sufficiently prepared to resume living my life. But yeah, talked about Uninvited. I feel like it's a good article. Writing is hard, guys. I do it all day and then I do it all night. Yeah.
That's why I stick to numbers. I don't like letters.
Yep.
Effing numbers.
How do they work?
Oh, boy. Okay, so we had a Ron White reference, a Mythbusters reference, and now ICP.
ICP, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was only 4 syllables, so I'm good.
Yeah.
And you counted the syllables right.
Amazingly.
I think you might be an inebriate savant.
Also, amazingly, also 4 syllables. So
that is great. I feel like I was talked over, but I just called you an inebriate savant.
Ooh, I'll take it.
Oh man! But let's not burn all of our funny here. Let's run right into the show, guys. And I think that we're going to do a little bit of the brief, a little bit of a multiplayer, and a little bit of a grind as we do. You ready to go?
Yes.
I'm going to put your sand coupon in one more time.
I'm so sorry.
I'm just gonna put that on a soundboard. So this is the brief where we talk about news in the world around us. I need to remind everybody it's not called the brief because it's short. It's called the brief because it's like the mission briefing in a video game. Nothing about this makes sense, but also it's not dude's underwear. But I want to ask: does anybody have a story they want to volunteer?
I do.
Okay.
Ben got it.
I want to go because I'm pretty sure it might be someone else's, but we'll see. New Civilization game was announced this week. So Civilization, it's called Beyond Earth.
It's Civilization Alpha Centauri is what it is.
Pretty much. But they have a pretty trailer for it.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous.
So you can look at that. It's on the same engine as the Civ 5 game, but it's more focused on planet expansion. Yeah. So the trailer just shows people leaving Earth since the title is Beyond Earth. So
next gen they have 5 X's.
The extra X is for extreme. Yeah, no, this revs my engine in some very important ways.
All right.
Oh no, just like it's I like Civ. I only recently got exposed to 4X games under the guise of Master of Orion 2, but it was very good. I liked it, and the fact of the idea of that being wrapped up in a modern Civilization-esque thing sounds pretty neat.
Wait, is it 4X games or Fire Axis games?
Okay, so it is 4X games. Those are, I believe it's Expand, Explore, Exterminate, Extreme. Exploit. Just like Civilization technically could be one, although I see what your mistake is, and it is Firaxis games.
Okay,
but yeah, it's one of those weird things where you're mishearing it actually worked. Okay, so.
I feel the need to interject this story.
Oh,
because you said something that vaguely sounds like the word I am thinking of.
Okay.
There's a high school teacher I had that was in the Army, and he said, he had a sergeant or whatever with a really southern drawl. And he said they were out on a march one day, and he was in charge of guarding the supplies, and the sergeant came up and was like, "Watch the fire ants!" And so he was like, "Yes, sir, I'm watching the fire ants." And he's like, "What are the fire ants?"
I know what he's saying.
Yeah, so, and then he found out later, as he was picking up the gear, that it was covered in fire ants, which sounds incredibly remotely like Phyrexis. So I'll shut up now. That's a story I had. Continue.
Yeah. Well, fire ants are going to be one of the alien races.
Yes. There. See? There.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Also a complete lie. Full lie.
Yeah, actually, I found out a whole bunch of my the fellow in the robotics club actually go out to one of the local bars and bring their computers and play Civilization against each other.
That's unacceptable, David.
I support this decision. I'm all about trying to do mentally hard activities while drinking. It's great.
That's what this is for. Tuesday nights.
Wait. So Ben, I feel like next up, then you need to try drunken chess boxing.
Ooh, yeah, the boxing might not be great, but yeah, I would do drunken chess or drunken programming.
I'll be totally honest. Oh no, it's it's actually documented. Drunken programming is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I did it in my web design classes.
Another way to say that is computer scientists are alcoholics. But
it's the Balmer peak.
Yeah. Before they created Windows DE. I forget what it is.
I mentioned the Balmer Peak to be right before Uncanny Valley.
Uncanny Valley.
Am I still on air?
Yeah, you're here. I laughed at you.
Okay, good. Awesome.
I laughed at you. Don't worry.
Sweet. All right.
Yeah. No, but so you say people going to like a bar to play Civilization. All I can think of is this image that is passed around a lot, which is an older guy at a Starbucks or a coffee shop with a full iMac plugged in on the table, which he just carried there, thinking it was a portable computer.
I have to say, actually, I was hearing the planning for it, and one of them discussed that they should actually like not use the wired internet, actually like LAN party it, because that would be more cool, which I feel like is a similar thing.
I'm looking at this XKCD photo or comic that Ben passed along. Boy, the show notes are going to be crazy on this episode. But explaining the Balmer, is that an actual thing? The Balmer Peak?
Well, I mean,
or is that just something that this that this autistic guy came up with?
That depends. I believe, presumably, the person, Ballmer, was it Steve Ballmer?
Yeah. Former CEO of Microsoft.
Yeah, actually, like, advocated this. I would say this concept has definitely entered, like, programmer/hacker culture via XKCD, probably.
Okay.
Whether there's scientific evidence to it, I mean, I somehow managed to get my projects done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's such a thing as state memory, right? Which is, if you do something when you're drunk, you have a better chance of being able to do it again when you're drunk. And so, if you do this enough, you will not have access to those pathways or that expertise when you're sober.
Yeah, I actually know my graduating class from my undergrad, like the guy who was basically top of the class, like took tests drunk, claiming that it was because he had studied drunk, therefore.
Yeah, I feel like
memory.
That might be just a little bit of an excuse. But because I've done a fair number of things, and like although I notice like writing like a first draft is a lot easier because of lowered inhibitions, and like I will sit down and just write 2 sentences over the course of 4 hours because I'm constantly self-editing, and when I'm drinking I don't do that. I also write shittier, and I spend way more time editing anyway. So it's like, that may be a little bit of a case where you're just like, fuck it, I'm just going to write this and see what happens, as opposed to trying to solve, edit on the fly. But it's kind of like saying I can only play and appreciate music when I'm on weed, man. Which, not being a person in the weed culture, I have no idea if I'm just being a square or a bullshit person when I say that. But it just kind of seems like the same thing.
See, I find that I can do everything better drunk as long as everything is defined as fall asleep.
I don't know. Let's so let's determine how efficacious Dennis is today. Dennis, can you say efficacious?
No.
Give it a one-syllable try.
Yep. You know what? Sometimes you just gotta throw it into a skid. Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Am I
as a side note, Dennis, that those pictures are canny.
Yeah, a picture of Steve Ballmer compared with Sloth from the Goonies.
I googled Ballmer because I wanted to see who it was, and I just immediately thought that. So
yeah.
As a side note,
side note. Yes. We're in a side note within a side note now. Continue.
Oh no! Yeah,
this is like the friend zone version of side notes. What's up?
Right.
As a side note, we could start making like an Inception style side notes here if you guys want to.
It's like the friend zone in that it doesn't exist and it's inherently misogynistic. Continue.
Oh. Wait, Inception's misogynistic?
No. I mean Ellen Page, right?
I never knew.
No, the friend zone.
Anyways,
we're back to the second level side note.
There we go. So your second side note, go ahead.
Oh, was I just imagining that I heard they were remaking the Goonies?
The director has talked about a sequel.
Okay, that would be kind of awesome. Well, no, that would actually probably be horrible.
Be pretty sad.
But the platonic ideal of that would be kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Let's see here. Well, I've got a news story. I'm being excited about that. Also looking at games that were announced or, in this case, confirmed to still exist. So Beyond Good and Evil 2, the last time anybody saw any of that was at E3, I believe, in 2009. Ubisoft came out and showed a pre-rendered trailer saying, "Hey, our guy Michel Ancel. He is totally working on this thing. We know the first one didn't make us any money, but it got us a lot of goodwill. So we'll put this out as a loss leader just to make you people happy. And then they proceeded to take him and put him on every single Rayman game, including the Rabbids, which is a waste of his talent. And not the side scrollers, but the Rabbids ones. Very
okay, I was going to say, I was about to light my torches.
No, I wanted to be very clear. Side scrollers, good use of his time. The Rabbids games, it's bygone era. However, in a live stream here recently, and when I say recently, like in the past couple of days, Michel Ancel, he came out and said, in response to a question, so is Beyond Good and Evil 2 still a thing? He held up some concept art of Jade, the main character of Beyond Good and Evil 2, and confirmed that yes, indeed, it does exist. We are working on this. We have very nice looking art of Jade, this main character, redesigned in this kind of new, more realistic-ish style. And it's coming out on PS4, Xbox One, Wii U, and PC, even though there is no release date as of yet. So, a game we thought was gone forever is confirmed to, at the very least, still be extant.
Huh.
Yeah. I don't know. Did anybody play that?
I didn't.
All at once. Go ahead, David.
I was going to say, I didn't, although it's like, it's like $5 on GOG, right?
Oh, it's like ridiculously cheap everywhere.
Yeah, that's always been my, go-to, if I ever really need a game to play and I don't want to, spend some cash. Mm-hmm. That's, one that I know that's good, but I've never actually gotten around to it.
Yeah, it's really good. It's kind of Zelda-ish, and it has a photography game inside of it, which is nice. Yeah. Stealthy. Walk around hitting stuff with a club. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about it.
Technically a Joe. Sorry.
Okay. How about you, Ben? You have an experience with this?
I have not. I just finished reading the Wikipedia page for it, or at least skimming it. So.
Okay, cool. And Dennis, you chimed in as well.
For this story or for a new story?
Oh, I mean, go ahead, do a new story.
I have no idea what's going on right now. My story is that Homeworld is going to be in 4K resolution. And I only mention this because up until the point that I saw this story, I thought Homeworld was like a hallucination I had for a week. I rented the Homeworld game for my library.
Yeah.
Loved it. Played it for 2 weeks straight. Had to return it because of a hold. And then could never find it again.
Oh, yeah. It's hard as balls.
I just assumed that it was, assumed it was a figment of my imagination. And then not only do I find out that it is a real thing, but it is a real thing that will be in incredibly high def. Just kind of brought back all these childhood memories. So, Did anyone else play this, or was anyone else aware that Homeworld was a thing?
Yeah, it's
this
great.
Is the NES video game, correct?
No, this is
That's
PC.
Earthbound. Never mind. What am I talking about? I need to sober up, guys.
Totally, we are on it tonight.
I misheard you. Did you say NES or NES?
Wait,
what?
Did you say two different words?
Yes. NES with one S or NES with two S's. Because I need to find out if you're one of those people who says NES instead of NES. It's like the thing where you need to burn your blood with a coiled wire.
I initially said NES.
I got that reference.
Yeah. The thing, yeah. It's the thing, yeah.
Hey, everyone, the reference was the thing.
Okay, cool.
Okay, just so we're clear.
All right. Match up your scorecards, and we're good. But no, so yes, that is not the NES game. Starring the young man Ness who hits things with baseball bats and yo-yos. We're referring to it's a PC real-time strategy set in space game, and very, very difficult. And one of the first games that I played on a 3D accelerator on a friend's computer.
Yeah, it had what I'll call XCOM syndrome, which is where if you make the wrong choices early on, you can screw yourself for the late game without knowing it. Mm-hmm. Where you just you're playing it and being oblivious to how the systems of the game worked. I put myself in a situation where there was just no way I was going to advance, but it took probably 10 levels for that to develop. And then it's like, well, crap, what do I do? I either reinvest that 8 hours or, never play the game again, which was the option I went with. But I mean, the time that I spent with it before really realizing I had screwed myself was amazing, and I just really loved the game and kind of the ethos behind the game and everything. So it was very unique, and I'm excited to see it again. I don't know if I'll play it in 4K, but I'm excited to be able to play it again.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not terribly excited about 4K. Like, I love my my Retina MacBook, but that's because it's a small screen and you often sit very close to it. I think that especially 4K televisions kind of miss the point. They don't fix what's bad about TV or watching movies in general. So it's kind of like, hey guys, 1080 worked. Let's throw more pixels at it. It'll be even better. It's like, I reckon as progress marches on, but I don't know.
And what percent of games actually run in 1080? It's incredibly low. Most are in 720.
It depends. I mean, like, Sony's been the forerunner in actually getting stuff to run at 1080p. Most stuff, anyway, is scaled up. That's a huge controversy about stuff on the Xbox One. And then even if it outputs at that high of a resolution, you also have to have textures that are at that resolution. Otherwise, they get muddiness. And I think that the thing with the best track record, David, don't say yes, is PC in terms of actually being able to like be very, very scalable to get stuff up. Good.
Actually, what I was going to say is my belief is that the real problem that we need to overcome is getting people to grow new eyes that can actually see that high of a resolution.
Well, it's weird because it's like the megapixel wars, right? Like, back in like the mid 2000s or whatever, where it's like, hey, this number is bigger, therefore it is a better thing. When in reality, what you should be looking at on a television, like on a display, is color profile, is like the actual space between the pixels, like the actual just are like how much empty space are you looking at without even realizing it. Response rate, refresh rate, contrast, what kind of backlighting it has, whether or not the display makes noise, which is totally a thing. Like there are all these things about displays and about televisions that should be fixed. Like, we solved the weight problem pretty well. Like, you don't see any like Trinitrons, being dropped downstairs anymore. But there are these tertiary things that will genuinely make television better. But this idea like, okay, we're rushing on to bigger and better numbers, and this applies to displays as well, like monitors. It's just kind of like you're kind of missing the point, because
at least with megapixels, the point is that because a square, the area of a square is side squared, it increases exponentially, so you can put in hardly any work and still be like, twice as many megapixels as last year.
Yeah. When really, like on a camera, what you should be looking at is like, what kind of sensor? Like, how big is the sensor? What kind of optics are we working with here? Like, there are all these things that are not as easily marketable. God, why did I start talking about technology? Fuck.
Yeah. Even then, especially in the realm of video games, aesthetics over graphics. Aesthetics over graphics.
And I'm sure Homeworld will look fine. Like, that has always been a very pretty series. Mm-hmm. But I just, when I was building my PC, it was like, okay, I could follow some advice that I'm seeing and like try and set this up to be like dual SLI and Crossfire and 4K is coming, better get that. It's like, no, like if you like max it at 1080p, you really just end up like being able to like spec stuff out and have that tiny little box that makes hardly any noise. So again, one of those tertiary benefits that is better than, is number bigger? Yes. No. Check one.
Rather than having a vacuum cleaner that runs at 4K.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear that they announced that they're going to make an 8K TV too? I think Sony did this last week. And they said in the article too, there's like no discernible difference, but they're just going to make it anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that they're like the difference rests somewhere in like somewhere between Retina and 4K. Stuff just becomes bullshit, and that's just DPI. Like, what's the DPI on your display related to how far away it is from your face, generally?
Right.
Yeah. It's enhancing your digipenis.
I mean, at a certain point, blah. I love this Retina screen on my laptop, though.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. I've kind of been enjoying it.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it is genuinely better on that small of a screen to actually be able, as my eyesight starts edging towards like worse. Like that crispness on the text makes a big difference.
Yeah, I've apparently it's possible to unlock the screen size on a Mac and just get just some completely unreasonable screen sizes, which I want to do because why not?
You'll dip into it for a second and then you'll dip right back out.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm talking my understanding is you can get it to where like if you scaled what your average full screen would be, it would be say an inch across. Yeah.
No, the actual operating resolution on this is I think somewhere in the 2000s, something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I do think it's interesting with talk about everything's going to jump to 4K or over 9000K or whatever. I've been reading a lot about system requirements because I've been just switched to a new computer. I really think that it seems like the Mac is sort of providing a drag on some of that stuff.
I think that oh god, this is turning into a Mac podcast. The thing that's kind of dragging on that is Apple refuses to do anything at the expense of battery life. And
right.
I feel that when you're operating in a portable space, that is probably the smarter and more responsible way to go.
Oh sure. When I say a drag, I mean that as a positive thing. I think it's effectively keeping people from just being let's make everything bigger for no reason.
Oh yeah. No, it's let's put a 5 gigahertz processor in this mobile phone. How long does it last? Well, I don't know because I never leave the house. But 3 minutes. But yeah. So and here's the other thing. Here's why 4K is not going to take off, because all technological advances are driven by perverts. No, seriously. That's why VHS won over beta, because porn companies flocked towards VHS for political reasons. That is why Blu-ray won over. Just in high def.
DVD.
Yeah, HD DVD didn't pick up because people didn't want to put porn on it. And also, what am I thinking of here? Blah blah blah. High def kind of no DVD was a huge thing there. That the PlayStation 2 and pornography are why DVD took off in America and in the world. So but you start getting to 4K, movies look worse because you can see the rivets on the set of 2001: A Space Odyssey, and B you can see ingrown hairs and shit. Just way too much detail. Yes, they look human because humans are imperfect, but people don't want that, and a little bit of that Vaseline on the lens. I think that perverts are not going to want to go to 4K because it's going to kind of break some of the illusion.
See, I feel like you're dramatically underestimating the degree to which the internet will provide a market for ingrown hair fetishes.
Well, okay, but it's still going to be niche. But I'm talking, Joe Sixpack, Buddy Light out there just kind of, doing his thing. He's not going to want to see that.
Or David, is he? Catch the future wave.
Catch the future wave.
Real beauty.
I'm not saying that people with ingrown hairs are not beautiful. I don't fucking care. But this caricature of a pervert that I'm painting does.
Let's all be mad at this caricature.
Yeah, let's all be mad at this caricature of a pervert. David, you got a story?
Yeah, something kind of small and trivial, but apparently, some video game, something or another, dug up a report that LucasArts was planning a video game about the origin of Darth Maul and canceled it.
Yeah.
So have you guys seen this at all?
Seen this? Heard about this? Yes.
Yeah, apparently the big thing with it was, perhaps not surprisingly, because it ruins everything that could be awesome about Star Wars, is that they just couldn't work with George Lucas.
Wow.
Cool figure.
For example, the example that this article gives is that at one point George Lucas took a statue of Darth Maul and one of Darth Talon and put them facing each other and said that they're friends, which is problematic because they lived 100 years apart. And Lucas then responded that one could be a clone or whatever that they actually knew.
Oh.
I think my favorite part of that story is that George Lucas apparently communicates his creative ideas like a small child with action figures.
That's pretty good.
But yeah, there's actually some kind of interesting. They've got the concept art from it, and it actually looks kind of interesting. The other thing, apparently, at one point during development, it was actually going to be like gameplay inspired by the Batman Arkham series.
Yeah.
Huh.
Which I think I don't know. I think like stealth killing a Jedi is something that the game world needs.
Yeah, like a Jedi assassin game would be pretty fun.
Because everything about Darth Maul screams subtlety.
I never spoke.
Hey, if you don't have color vision, those tattoos are almost like camouflage.
Yeah. No, so like what's funny about that is apparently somebody said no to George Lucas, which that never happens, and that is always
been executed.
That has always been. Yeah, none of the people who are alive. The existence of this game was only determined from their wills after he hunted down the last one, and they had like a tontine that the documents had to go to the last survivor.
Not to be confused with a tauntaun.
That's pretty good.
And George Lucas is just like, wait, guys, Tauntaun Canteen. Make a movie.
Yeah. But no, that's always been his problem, right? Nobody's ever said no to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it just... I mean, is the conclusion that he actually sucks at making movies and just got incredibly lucky with the original trilogy? Is that the message we draw from his career as a whole?
Okay, so on this episode we've talked about screen resolutions, Blu-ray, and now George Lucas. The consensus that I subscribe to and that I've heard espoused the most often is he was attempting to get Star Wars made for a very good long time. His initial cut of it sucked. His wife recut it and made it into a good movie. It was successful because of her efforts, and that's why we don't see that one anymore. And then the second one was actually written and directed by different people. So Empire Strikes Back was the one that he was the least involved in. And riding high on that, he jumped back in for Jedi, which he saw the dip in quality. And then, again, people were afraid to say no to him because he had all that sweet, sweet action figure money.
The dip in quality and then the Death Valley of quality.
Yeah.
The Mariana Trench of quality.
Yeah.
So I guess, though, he still does deserve some credit for at least creating an interesting world.
Kind of, but I mean, like, he probably fell ass backwards into that if his suggestion for everything is, I don't know, maybe it's a clone.
Suddenly the Clone Wars makes so much more sense.
Yeah, all the clones that he created over the years had to fight it out somewhere.
Multiplayer.
Now it is time for multiplayer, where we are asking you a question, and you answered it. You came out in force. Thank you, everybody. And Dennis, to spare you the embarrassment, I will read this I will read the question for you. Sometimes a minigame or subsystem can steal the show from the main game. What are some of the best or worst minigames that you have played? And to start us off here, David, what's Jala say?
Jala says, Breath of Fire 3, fishing. Any game with a shooting range, Left 4 Dead 2, Dark Carnival, and Resident Evil are the ones I'm thinking of offhand. The Carnival games in the beginning of Chrono Trigger, I don't remember those.
It's a fair, go ahead, sir.
And the Sonic Chaos Gem minigames, specifically Sonic and Sonic 2. I'll let you sort out whether they're good or bad.
Sonic's definitely bad.
Was that in reference
No.
to the Sonic ones?
I mean, maybe. I like the bonus levels in Sonic 1 and 2.
Was it the 3D like globe one?
No, okay, so Sonic 1 was the rotating 2D pinball world. Sonic 2 was the half pipe, and Sonic 3 was the sphere.
Oh, I love the half pipe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was freaking awesome.
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah. Which was the Sonic game? Was it Sonic and Knuckles that had it all of a sudden took you to a 3D quote unquote world?
Yeah.
That was a big globe.
Sonic 3 was the 3D globe one.
Yeah, that one sucked.
I don't know. The Breath of Fire 3 fishing minigame is really, really good, and actually that's a way to get the best healing items in the game. It's not obnoxious like most fishing games are. In fact, I would say Breath of Fire in general is pretty good about that because they kept it in every single one no matter what.
Was it the same in every single one?
No, they evolved it.
Oh, okay. No, that's good.
I remember the fishing game in the Zelda 64 being weird.
Yeah, it depended on you really having the Rumble Pack, I think.
Oh, yeah, I remember they just, castigated you if you didn't.
Yeah. Which seems a little bit severe, but... Let's hear. Ben, what's Brian say?
Brian says, it's funny that you use Blitzball as the image for this post because I fucking love me some Blitz. My old save file has over 100 hours clocked just playing it, and I've been playing a bit on the HD remaster lately too. Another Final Fantasy minigame I got into was Triple Triad from Final Fantasy VIII. The game-spanning side quest for it is an absolute blast to work through, and the main game rewards are terrific. Finally, this isn't specifically game-related, but some friends and I made Sabacc, the Star Wars poker-style game, deck in high school, and we used to get together to play once in a while.
Nice.
Sabacc.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of this one. I've only heard of Pazak.
Yeah.
But it's nice that they rhyme.
I don't know. Maybe one of you is mistaken. I know it's Pazak. What?
Pazak's the one from Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, there may be a Sabacc. In fact, I'm going to look it up.
Sabacc is the one that's mentioned in the actual movies, and I thought it was Sabacc in the KOTOR games, which was essentially blackjack with a little bit of deck building, like number manipulating cards in it, right?
Yeah, it's Pazak in the games. P-A-Z-A-A-K.
Ooh, that's fake.
But it's Sabacc in the...
Yeah.
It's Sabacc in the movies.
One can be poker and one can be blackjack.
Yeah,
But in the Star Wars universe, all card games must rhyme.
Well, yeah,
No,
and they must be
was
clones.
just a clone of Pazak.
Damn it, you beat me to it.
That was like a 5-joke pile-up. We were all rushing for the lever. Yeah.
Actually, while we're on the topic of card games and games, can I throw in one of mine?
Sure.
I'm probably the only one that played it because it's I guess ended up being a little obscure, but the Dinotopia adventure game had a card game they made called Treble, which was basically like Rummy, except you just had a 5-card hand, and there were 3 different things. Your card was one of 3 numbers, one of 3 colors, a number from 1 to 3, and one of 3 symbols. And you had to either get a 1, 2, and 3, a straight of one of those characteristics, or all matching of one of those characteristics. You had to get 2 of those. I don't know. It was basically just a weird like combination of poker and rummy.
This is a game. I forget the name of it, but this is a current game as well. Is that it?
No, not Sequence. I have it. It's in my drawer. Yeah, where each card has a shape, a color, and a number. Set.
The name
there
of
it
it's
is.
Set.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a great game. I love that game.
Okay, so is this actually a thing? Because when you bought the game, they actually gave you like a set of cards to play, like real life cards to play it. And I've been wanting to try to track one of them down because I really like the game. So
yeah, I guarantee you. Yeah.
Very cool.
I have to echo Brian's Final Fantasy VIII Triple Triad thing. I kind of wish, along the lines of the Blitzball, I kind of wish that these Final Fantasy games that had the one major, game that runs throughout the entire thing, that they would keep track of them separately, because probably 1/3 of my Final Fantasy VIII playtime was playing Triple Triad. And that kind of so this will be like my one that's my favorite, but that is something that marks a good mini game in a game like this, which is it's not necessary in order to proceed, but it can give you really big benefits outside of it. So there's incentive beyond just the joy of playing it, and it was a genuinely fun game, to go around and collect these cards and turn enemies into cards, and in that you could burn them in order to get items or spells which were treated like items, and so you could really like overpower yourself, especially if you were doing a low level run. That was the way that you progressed and the way that that game was put together. Same thing goes for Breath of Fire 3 or whatever, where like you get tangible rewards for doing it, but you're not at any point really required to take part in it.
It really. I've never played Final Fantasy VIII, but it seems like the only thing I ever hear from it is like Triple Triad and Gunblades.
Yeah, those are indeed the standout features. I need to go back and play it because I think that I might like it. I think I might like it more than I initially would say. Like if I was to give like the grand unified, Final Fantasy. Again, the quartiles, right? Like
yeah.
I probably would have ranked that lower without considering it, but if I went back and played it, I might actually appreciate its innovation.
Yeah. My understanding is that it got buried under, or it got a bad rap, I should say, for like really whiny characters.
Yeah. But I think that...
Wait, isn't that Final Fantasy?
Not in general. I mean, like, compare Final Fantasy VIII with 9. Like, 9 probably... It might be my favorite Final Fantasy on the PlayStation. Maybe, but that's not a discussion for here. I don't think. But yeah, that's my favorite. I don't know. I'll go ahead and read James Robinson. Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I skipped all cutscenes and as much of the main quest as possible just to board and plunder ships, upgrade, and repeat. I also liked the harpooning minigame too. I made it my main quest to turn the sea red, hunting as much cetacean life as possible to extinction. So long, and thanks for all the fish.
So basically, in his world, Black Flag is the prequel to Dishonored.
Kind of. I think he was rolling around the Caribbean as a one-man Japan.
Yeah. Oh man.
What?
No, it's very efficient. It is a very apt metaphor. No, simile. Like or as? I don't know.
Wow.
I just letting this one resolve its own momentum. I like Drunk Dennis. He laughs at the things I say.
No, I like the idea that it actually literally turns the sea red, and that's kind of your completion percentage. It's like how much of the sea is blood.
I was kind of
how many that shows you how many dolphins are still left.
Yes.
Oh man, let's see here. Dennis, do you want to risk reading one?
Yeah, I will. There are a lot of syllables in this, but I will go for it. I assume that's my cue to go for it.
Yes.
Dustin says, I still remember picking up this game at midnight from Toys R Us, and it's a picture of the fourth survivor start screen from Resident Evil 2.
Yes.
How it happened was sort of a blur, but I remember being one of the few kids at the store and going home to play it that same night. I finished Leon's scenario in one sitting.
Yeah.
Players the next morning. Holy shit.
You can do it.
Yeah. The game was and still is gold. I doubt that I unlocked the hunk and tofu missions right away.
Yeah.
But I played RE2 over and over, the same way that I played the first game until the fourth survivor mission. There, see, it got me. Survivor mission appeared. Best surprise minigame I've ever experienced. It wasn't until some years later that I learned there was a tofu mission, but I have never unlocked it myself.
Yeah, it's really hard to do that.
What do you have to do for the tofu mission? Because I hadn't heard of that before.
It is, you have to beat it in under a certain amount of time without saving.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, the Resident Evil 2 ones stand out because they're canon, right? Like they actually have a meaningful impact to the storyline.
At least the hunk ones do. Because he was there. He was the one who shot William Birkin. Yeah. And what's funny about Tofu's scenario is that he was initially just a test for the hitboxes, and it's kind of funny having this big gray block running around. so they put it in, like that. And what makes him really difficult to use is that he only has the knife.
Gotcha.
He only has what?
The knife.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
That's I know. That's where I played Resident Evil 5 anyways.
Well, yeah. I mean, starting from Code Veronica on, the knife got a lot more useful. No, so let me see. I'm looking at GameFAQs right now. The way to get Tofu is to be Claire A, Leon B, Claire A again, Leon B again, Claire A again, and then Leon B again to unlock Tofu. So you have to play through the game, both scenarios, 3 times.
Wow.
Do you have to do it in that order?
On that, yes. So it's either you can do it Leon A, Claire B, Leon A, Claire B. But you have to at the very least go through both scenarios.
Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah, Resident Evil, man. But yeah, those like the mercenary thing that became a mainstay of the series. I still really love the mercenary mode in Resident Evil 3, where you had Nikolai and Wesker and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Who did I have start? We did.
I believe I did.
Yes. So, David, why don't you go ahead?
All right. Tim Schumacher says, I've secretly wanted to operate a blog for which I'd play and write about every fishing minigame. But It's very hard. Yeah, tell me about it. But it's very hard to organize, and deep down, I know there isn't much to say there. Fishing in video games is always so dumb. Why do I love it so much? Recent favorites, Deadly Premonition and Nier. Wait, what was Deadly Premonition?
What?
Whoa,
David.
You're gonna have
that
to.
does not seem like a game that
You're surprised at the inclusion of anything in Deadly Premonition?
Okay, Gran. Okay.
I'm so...
Touche. I rest my case.
Yeah. So that's kind of bizarre because, okay, I'm comfortable saying that all Japanese want to kill all whales, but I'm uncomfortable making this cultural broad-stroked generalization, which is it feels like the inclusion of fishing in games is a distinctly Japanese thing. Huh. Because when I think of fishing here in America, I think of good old boys. I think of my childhood going with my dad either to a pond or going up on Lake Erie, and I picture it being kind of a low rent thing. And that may be the case over there, but I encounter fishing in Japanese video games now more often than I ever encounter it in my actual life.
Yeah, Because it's like Pokemon, Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we got?
Deadly Premonition can just go fuck itself with its fishing game, which is just a slot machine. Yeah.
It's a
pretty much
thinly
every
veiled.
MMO now.
Yeah. Well, that's just something to do while you're waiting.
It's a thinly veiled random number generator. Like, it is a context in which it is completely okay to have no control over the outcome.
Yeah.
Besides putting in enough time.
Actually, I have to say, this Blitzball image, is he in fact about to, like, peg a fish? Because I never played the game, but that's what it looks like he's doing.
No, I think a pegafish is a narwhal. Fuck, unifish. No, a pegafish is a flying fish. Fuck. I was so close, you guys. I almost had it.
I'll allow it.
Have you seen the green light for Star Wars?
Yeah, no. I take issue with narwhal humor, but
Okay, well,
That's where we draw the line. That is where we go no further. Thank you, sir.
no, I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
Felder
it's,
Cole's nerve is narwhals.
Go ahead, David.
I'm not sure I can come back from that.
That's pretty
The
funny.
ultimate shutdowns are narwhal-related shutdowns.
Was so David, was your favorite in-game minigame the set?
Actually, no. I would say two kind of come to mind. I don't know if I think I mentioned previously us playing Forge mode and chucking tanks at each other.
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
like that's
Halo 3?
more. Say that again?
Halo 3?
Yes. I'm sorry, Halo 3. I feel like that's more like abusing the game as opposed to actually being a mini game.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if this one counts because it actually the entire game was a mini game. But in one of the Mario Party games, there was a like a dogfighting mini game. Where
Really?
yeah. So you're flying around. It's 3D flying around.
Oh, airplane dogfighting. Okay, I went to a very dark place.
Oh,
Like
man.
Pokemon?
It's Mario Party, dude.
Oh my god. Okay, no, okay.
Well, I
that
mean,
that
there's
clears
chain chomps.
Yeah. That clears some stuff up. Continue.
Sorry, that's just stuck in my head now. It's
I mean, think about it. You had Luigi running around in green and blue. He might as well be playing for the
For the
Eagles. Falcons.
so we're saying in the same way they have Mike Tyson's Punch Out, we could have what's his name, Michael Vick, Matt, something
Oh,
Vick.
man.
Yeah,
Like
so
Vic dogfighting and having it be an airplane simulator would be I don't even know what.
Wait, dogfighting in an airplane?
You know what? Let's focus on the minigames.
You know what? There actually was a Snoopy Flying Ace dogfighting game where it was dogs shooting things at each other in planes. So I think that is the purest. You know what? I said the Falcons, like thinking that they were green, but they're totally not.
It's the Eagles. It's the Eagles. I gotcha.
But Michael Vick played for the Falcons.
He did.
Yeah.
He's now. He was with the Eagles. He might still. I have no idea where he is now.
Okay, continuing.
So wait, that's been what are all the references? So we spent time on screen,
we don't need
screen
to take an
resolutions,
inventory every time.
screen resolutions. The other thing I forget, and football. This has been a red letter episode.
Oh man! So, did we let you finish, David? I forget.
Yeah. So it's just I don't know. I feel like overall Mario Party was kind of a weird game in that it was a whole bunch of mini games that weren't actually fun and trying to like make a fun game out of it.
Yeah.
Whereas that was definitely a mini game that was fun.
Yeah. I don't recall the specific one, but there were some games that were fun, so that might have been one of them.
I always won the picture matching ones where you had to distort the picture the right way.
Oh yeah.
Those were good times.
Ben, what's Ethan say?
I'm going to read what Michael said.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if we maintain order.
Yeah,
But
that is maintaining order.
I also have another reason.
Order is sacred.
So Michael says, I definitely played a fair amount of Texas Hold'em and Red Dead Redemption single player and enjoyed myself. I'm not really a cards kind of guy, but I sort of got into it. I found a significant amount of fun in cleaning out the NPCs and getting them upset, as well as attempting to cheat and perhaps then ending up in a duel.
Yeah.
In any case, I really appreciate how the minigames integration in Red Dead made the world feel more alive, even if it didn't particularly enjoy actually playing most of them. Walking into a settlement or a saloon and seeing a group of NPCs in the corner playing blackjack or five-finger fillet added a nice sense of these places being lived in. And then in parentheses at the bottom, perhaps more controversially, I enjoyed the hacking minigame in BioShock in a small but precious way. Mm-hmm. Being drawn out of the exploration fairly frequently can get annoying, but flipping those tiles and moving those tubes into a nice clean order touches my brain in some kind of special place.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it is a game out of its place, but...
Yeah. So I have to second his Red Dead Redemption sentiment, where that was a fantastic integration into the game. Where, again, and I had an opinion that was very similar to his, where Texas Hold'em's like okay, but the fact that they allowed you to cheat in a Wild West game was great, and it also was a nice way to get income to, buy guns or do whatever you need to do in Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a really nice one, and I also I just have a lot of fondness for Knights of the Republic, so I like the Pizzac and the racing, the speeder racing games that they had in there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I have to interject that if you liked the poker in Red Dead Redemption, you have to play any of the Poker Night at the Inventory games by Telltale. They are phenomenal.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, and it's everything that was enjoyable about the Red Dead games, plus like some of the best characterization that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Play the first one; it has Strong Bad in it.
Yeah, and I've only played the second one, but I assume they are of equal quality. I'll talk about that in a second, actually.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, and like looking at Red Dead and the poker, it's like it's so great. Again, identifying things that work. Of fucking course, there's a poker game in Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
Like it'd be weird if it didn't. Mm-hmm. It's kind of weird that it's Texas Hold'em instead of 5-card stud, but I'll forgive them that, I guess.
Neither of those are actually never mind. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Was there anything keeping you from simply cheating on purpose, killing the guy, and taking his money?
I tried to cheat without doing the duel because they explained the rules of the duel once, and I did not read them in Rockstar fashion, so I never knew how to kill people in a duel.
Yeah. Also, there's a reputation system too. So, like, if you do that too much,
yeah.
People
but you can do it.
Awesome.
Yeah, like here comes a cool dude.
Do you remember the poker system on Dead Rising?
No.
Specifically, Dennis, I remember you playing around with that a lot, where basically the game cheated.
For poker in Dead Rising.
Yeah, the one where you're at the Las Vegas Mall.
Oh man, I don't remember it at all. But I am also very drunk right now. So
sure. Well, one of the missions you could get was poker, where you had to just like bankrupt everyone to complete the missions. But the game would just start cheating once people started getting close to being out, and it ended up pretty much being BS.
Yeah.
Now, was this to get, like, armor?
No, this was just because when there's a zombie uprising and your daughter is dying of zombie disease, the most responsible thing you can do is play poker.
Oh, so you're talking about Dead Rising 2. Okay.
Yeah, this is the second one, yeah. But I still don't remember the poker in that. But, yeah, okay.
You're probably best off.
Ben, have you said yours? Was yours the KOTOR stuff or
KOTOR and Red Dead Redemption? Yeah, those are both fun.
Nice. I'll hit. Dennis, hit Ethan.
Yeah. This is a shorter one, so I'm grateful.
Yeah, that's intentional.
Ethan says triple triad in Final Fantasy VIII. All the Final Fantasies I hated. Wait. I thought he was going to say I hated all Final Fantasies. I was like, ooh, harsh. Of all of the Final Fantasies, I hated the story of that one the most. But I spent many summer days and nights playing the card game in an obsessive way. Let's count it. I think that was good. That was a good
passing marks.
Only took me 10 tries.
Yeah. I'm kind of shocked that
in
nobody...
binary?
I'm kind of shocked that nobody came in and said the Gold Saucer games in Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that seems to be a perennial favorite.
Maybe too obvious? I don't know.
Maybe. Dennis, you said yours, right?
I have not said mine yet. So mine is kind of a mini game, kind of a subsystem. It's the planning system in the Rainbow Six games. Specifically, Rainbow Six and Urban Operations. I can't remember which one in the series that was.
Wait, is that really a mini? Isn't that the point of the Rainbow Six games?
Well, the point of the Rainbow Six games is to be like an awesome, counter-terrorist person. But I easily spent 10 times the amount of time planning versus actually executing. And I would, you go around in the blueprints and you can set the waypoints for each of your teams. And really, it doesn't matter because all of at that point, all of your AI counterparts were just idiots. Like they couldn't tie their shoes without killing themselves. And so, you were really best off putting in one team of 4, being the point person for that team, and then just leading them through the level like any first-person shooter out there. But I would spend hours and hours just constructing these elaborate 4-team, multi-part stage plans in the Blueprint simulator that, of course, would never pan out. But for some reason, I just liked the idea of laying out everything tactically so much more than the actual execution. So that's the one that came to mind for me.
Yeah, this brought to mind the new Hitman mobile game coming out, Hitman Go, which is very similar to that. Actually, it takes Hitman and turns it into a tabletop turn-based strategy game.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. It's like $5. I think it's out now, or it's going to be out here soon. But people seem to be pretty bullish on it. It's called Hitman Go. Yeah.
Rogue Spear. There we go.
Hooray! He found it.
Rainbow Six Rogue Spear and the expansion pack Urban Operations.
Okay.
That name always struck me as the most 80s action movie-esque name you could ever come up with.
Yes.
Somebody better get that spear under control.
Steven Seagal in Rogue Spear.
You're a loose cannon. I mean, spear.
You're a loose spear. Oh, man. That's pretty good. And I'll round us out with Christopher Schlee. Certainly the dating sim and GTA 4. Pretty accurate, too. I often, in real life, drive on the sidewalks to a bowling alley for the 17th consecutive date at that location. And then on to Sextown.
Wait, so that's what I've been doing wrong?
Oh, you've been using the roads. I'm sorry. The correct answer was sidewalk. But in all seriousness, I'm cheating with this one because aside from casino stuff in Fallout New Vegas or Pazak from KOTOR, I never really bothered. So, super cheating because it's a whole game. My CD-ROM copy of Day of the Tentacle had a copy of Maniac Mansion accessible from Weird Ed's computer in-game. So I did that shit.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's a pretty neat trick. That's a pretty neat trick that some games do.
That's ridiculous.
Whatever happened to for a while there? That was every every game, like, what was it, like the PlayStation 2 era? Every game would have like as special features like all the like old games in the series.
Do you want to really know why that is?
Sure.
It was mostly GameCube, and it was what developers on multi-platform games would often do to make up for the fact that GameCube didn't have any online. Any online play. So the GameCube version of a game, here's the weird thing, like Fight Night, like round 2 or round 3, whichever one came out on GameCube, just had like Punch Out included on it as an unlockable bonus.
Huh.
So that was really common at that time, specifically because of that. Whenever Nintendo before Nintendo realized they could sell their classic games and they were just giving them away for free with Animal Crossing, kind of a similar deal.
Yeah, and we all know Nintendo has gotten so much better about online capabilities.
Well, yeah, no, they're leading the market.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, and so did anybody not get a chance to say what they were going to say? I should keep track. I've got like 3 legal pads within eyesight, maybe 500 index cards.
Sounds like you're running low, Cole.
Yeah,
he has a whole file on me in OmniFocus. So
that always really bothered me. Are there like illegal pads, or
I think it's referring to the aspect ratio of the sheet.
So like that's the only legal aspect ratio?
No, David, you will not make that joke.
No. So what happens is I go down to the the dollar store where you get all the factory rejects, and they cut it just a little bit too short. They call them barely legal pads.
I will only accept that because I own John.
Cole has spoke.
Any other time I would be driving over to your apartment to throttle you right now.
The only thing keeping you from killing me is the law?
No, not even the law, the alcohol.
Wait a minute, I don't even know.
No. That's not even acceptable when you're drunk. Cool. Well, thank you, everybody, for responding to that. You came out in force, and we really, really appreciate when you give us fun stuff to riff around and start a good discussion. So thank you. If you would like to participate in that, that is facebook.com/thelevelpodcast. The prompts go up on Tuesday afternoons in general.
The grind.
Games. You playing them?
To some extent.
I actually swore off playing games. I decided I'm done with that.
Yeah, it's a fad. It's for stupid babies. Do you guys want me to go? Because I only got one.
Yeah, start us off.
Yeah. So, guys, Rocksmith. Holy shit.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah. I mentioned it last week.
Yeah.
And I somehow fell ass backwards into having 2 cables. So, Dennis, if you want one of the cables, I might be able to make that happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
Okay, so I'll describe this. This, I think, is probably the natural conclusion of music games and what some people were saying, like, oh, Guitar Hero, it'll get people into guitar, which, or Rock Band, it'll get people into drums, which we've said, yeah, that's kind of the thing. But it always was kind of like, hey, this is Fisher-Price, and it's kind of the illusion of playing music, which is still cool, but, And then, the Rock Band Pro Guitar, like, it was kind of neat, but you either had to have that $300 Squire that was really only good for Guitar Hero, or you had to use that Mustang controller like I had, which, again, was okay, but, had a lot of shortcomings to it. Rocksmith, I initially was kind of, like, put off by it because, what was it, Power Gig was another game that came out shortly before that, which was, like, the only game with a real guitar controller. And it was like a 3/4 scale, Ibanez or something that it shipped with, and the note detection was garbage. And so I ignored Rocksmith, thinking like, oh, I will be happy with Rock Band because if I'm going to play guitar in a game, I like learning guitar and playing a guitar game should be kind of like separate in my mind. However, I did myself a disservice by ignoring it for so long because, guys, it is spooky how well it works.
Really?
What's it like?
Yeah, so what it's like, it is like interactive tablature. So, guitar tabs where you see, like, somebody takes ASCII art and writes out what looks like sheet music, except it's, hold down this fret on this string and then this next one.
Yeah.
This plays the song, and then it has a very clever notation system where it has rows that represent each fret. So, like, up to 21 rows, and then it presents the strings as a plane that's like perpendicular to that. So strings that are and it makes no sense because they have it inverted. But in the way that I do it, it's like tablature where the string that is the lowest is also the highest at that point. Basically, like what it does is it just says, okay, you have two axes. Up and down is with your strings, and side to like which string you're hitting, and side to side is like which fret it is. And they have different notations for like bending and slides and hammer-ons, pull-offs, harmonics, palm mutes, fret mutes, all of those kind of things. And it's really clever because it throws it at you. The primary mode is learn a song mode. And that's where it just kind of like plays it. It's like no fail. But what's great is it starts you out at 0% mastery. And as you kind of like play through it and use its neat little system to repeat phrases, like as you play a section more accurately over time, it gets more complex. So say you're starting out with, just kind of the main notes of the melody, like barely recognizable, or like here is the main riff. And, instead of playing the full chord of, Losing My Religion, instead of going like, okay, A minor, E minor, F, D minor, A minor, E minor, F, D minor, it just gives you A, E, F, and D to hit, like roughly in time.
What every person does upon picking up a guitar for the first time, which is going dun, 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 dun on the lowest chord, or on the lowest string.
Kind of, yeah. And, like as you get that, like what it does is it's showing you, like by highlighting certain lanes, like what position your hand should be in. And if you're actually following it, I had to like kind of give in because I'm like, I know how to play guitar, damn it. But like I picked up the game, A, out of curiosity, B, it was on sale, C, I've kind of like plateaued in the music that I play a little bit. And so like when I sit down to play guitar, mostly it's acoustic, mostly it's chords, mostly it's actually like kind of like a campfire style, because a lot of the music that I listen to and play is like folk rock or pop kind of stuff where like basically I'm just open string Kole all the way, right? Which is fine, but like I whenever I would come across like, oh, I'd let you learn this song, like I'd done nothing. And, learning stuff through games has actually been a thing for me. I was like, okay, I might as well try this and see how it works. And I've noticed, just over, the let's say a little bit less than a week that I've had it, that it's actually gotten a little bit better. Specifically because of this, like you give in and you follow, like I know that I could just hit like it's only a couple notes every measure or so I could just hit all of these with my index finger. But if I actually get used to, I hit this crucial note with like my third finger, with my ring finger here. When that adds in the second stuff, I'm actually going to be able to keep my hand in position and then just do the solo around that, as opposed to just like faking it or doing it in a lazy way. And so, as you play it, it gives you missions for a particular song. So it's like get, a certain percent mastery with it, and then that gets, then that is checked off, and then it's replaced with like check out this chord in the chord book, or do this lesson, because it has whole lessons on like here is this scale, or here's how to do like this technique, like a palm mute or a slide or a bend. And that A, shows you how to do that physically, and B, here's what this looks like in an actual tab.
So
That's
is the
awesome.
point of this to actually or could this be actually teaching someone
Oh
guitar?
yeah, it's marketed as that.
I think they say it's the fastest way to learn guitar.
Yes, and like they're like there's a lot there that like I've made marked improvements to it. And
That's really cool.
Yeah, and like the song selection, most of it is stuff that you already like, have played probably 7 times in a music game. Like, say it ain't so. That's kind of, I've seen that a bunch of times. But they selected that because there's something in there that it wants to teach you, right? And it's kind of backwards because Say It Ain't So, that's a first tier song in Rock Band 2. It's the one that everybody like picks up when they're, going to play it at a party, right? Because it's super easy, right? Well, no, this is actually like an upper tier kind of thing. Like, in the list of like recommended order, you can actually say like Rocksmith recommend me something. That's pretty far down the list because it recognizes that chords are hard for most people. Whereas for me, like somebody who plays rhythm mostly, like I can, switch over. Oh, there's also lead, rhythm, and bass. So the different parts for each song are charted out.
Nice. I was about to ask, as someone who plays bass guitar.
Yes, it is a full bass teacher thing too.
Nice.
Yeah, but just kind of like you sit down, and it's like, okay, so it throws you for this song, play it out like in this chords, and then it says, all right, so we're going to take this up a level, and instead of just being the power chord version of this, you're actually going to have to hit notes within this, and it presents chords as like flat planes that come along with it, that you have to hit in the row. And so I've taken a couple songs up to pretty close to full mastery, and even though a lot of it isn't music that I would listen to, like okay, here's a Muse song. It's probably going to be about libertarian robots in space. However, Knights of Sidonia...
Wait. This seems relevant to my interests.
However, Knights of Sidonia is pretty fun and also pretty easy. And, you find yourself kind of rocking out to it. Just, strictly because it's like, oh, I wouldn't have opted to play this, but, And then there are ones that are just like good songs. Like Last Dance with Mary Jane is always going to be fun to play. No matter what.
Everlong by the Foo Fighters?
Yeah, exactly. Like that's on there. Like it's got some pretty sick jams on it. Sick jams. Got Peace of Mind by Boston. Yeah. This is just a bunch of good stuff. And there's DLC. Like I got it on Steam, so I got the PC version. You have to buy the actual game from a store or from Amazon because you have to have the cord.
Yeah, I was going to say, give me the physicality of this. So are you...
Yeah.
How are you
I probably should have laid this out because it ships with a cord and it is literally just a USB cable to a 1/4 inch. Mm-hmm. So you just plug into your computer or your PS3 or Xbox. Rocksmith 2014, the most recent one, works on a Mac too. And it is entirely like system agnostic, and it just treats your guitar like an audio device. And so you just plug it in, and you're hearing your guitar signal being pumped over your sound system, and it does a pretty good job. Like it's actually kind of eerie the way that they went into each individual song and modeled the effects to make it sound like, oh, I'm playing Heart-Shaped Box. This is kind of a similar tone that they had on that, and I'm like fitting right in with the song. So you are actually playing a guitar that you own, a bass that you own.
Could you use your TV essentially as an amp once you've?
There's a little session mode where you can set up like a drum machine or like a like a fake drummer or like a backing track and just like jam along with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No,
I could see that hardware being useful.
It's fucking great. I mean, like I just have like a shitty little Squier Stratocaster. That was probably made name a place worse than the Philippines. It was probably made there. And it was probably like made in a gulag in Siberia. But like it sounds okay. Like it's got a little bit more buzz than I would like, but it just works. And the note detection is fine. There's some where it's a little bit hairy, like, just sometimes, oh, I totally hit that, but nah. But there are also points where it's more lenient than it ought to be. But like in general, it's nice. And the songs that I know, the tabs jibe with what I know about them. Like, oh, Knocking on Heaven's Door. That is just how you play Knocking on Heaven's Door. Like it's totally 1-to-1.
Very cool.
Additionally, and this is something that I would encourage anybody who gets this to get it on PC because there are custom songs that you can get. So there's a website called Customs Forge, which exists in a very, very gray, probably leaning towards black legal space. But there's a toolkit out there to actually like write your own tabs for stuff. And so if a song is not available in DLC, if it's put up as DLC, it's immediately taken off of there. But you can go in there. So say a bunch of songs off of Like Clockwork, which is that awesome new Queens of the Stone Age album, were tabbed on there.
I was going to see either Ockerville River or Queens of the Stone Age. But
yeah. No Ockerville River yet, although it might be fun to sit down and try and tab one out. But yeah, so like sitting down and like learning like if I had a tail or I appear missing, like it's totally it totally jives with when I sit down and try and play this on my own. So there are some of them, like some customs, they don't scale with difficulty. So like all the Foo Fighters ones that I found, mostly off of like Wasting Light, it's either like full tab or nothing. And so it doesn't pick you up, and like a lot of those are really fast, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's a little bit hard, but like the really well put together ones, like I grabbed a Stairway to Heaven again, perfect tab, because that is a tab that everybody has accessed and contributed to at some point. Like it's a totally known thing, but that scales up. So when you're doing the finger picking, it just has you hit the keynotes, and then it throws in the flourishes.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I can't recommend it enough. Like if you have liked music games in the past, and if you're like, oh, I have a guitar sitting around, that's kind of the biggest hurdle, and I don't mind buying a $30 cable, although you can find it on Amazon for sale for a really low price. It is spooky technology that is still getting new DLC. Like they just put a bunch of Bob Dylan on there. And yeah, it's all like really reasonable too, and it goes on sale a lot on Steam. Like this is like a pro buy. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think it would like my 3-string.
Does you have a cigar box guitar?
Yes, but it has 3 strings.
You just double them.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I know. Actually, strangely enough, one of my New Year's resolutions for the summer is to learn to play an instrument, maybe guitar. So that actually sounds like it could be a really cool aid to do alongside lessons.
Yeah. Yep, just pick it up. I would recommend getting 2014. You can get the original one and import the songs. I haven't imported the songs yet. There's some really good ones on there, too. You got Where's My Mind by the Pixies and Go With The Flow by Queens of the Stone Age on there. But it's like a $10 import fee, kind of like with Rock Band. Yeah. It is. Cool. Yeah, and that's really all I've been playing. I've logged an unreasonable amount of hours in there, and my fingers really hurt.
What you're saying is you're quitting the podcast business to go into a career as a guitar rock star.
I don't know, not really. I would never be able to do that. Like, it might be cool to do a stream of it, just like to show it off to people, but I'm not confident enough in my abilities yet, and I get performance anxiety. But like it just, this is an audio medium, and it might be nice. I really enjoy like picking up and playing and learning and practicing guitar has been something that has improved my life. Learning music and playing music is good for you. And
it's a bonsai tree. It's something that you can always get better at, and will always be there for you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it is a very easy way to make yourself happy if you approach it with the right frame of mind. And, it is really cool that we have the technology to make it easier for visual learners like me, or tactile learners like me. Yeah, it's great.
Nice.
So,
I would love to learn more about that extra cord you have. So
this is relevant to my interest. So it's a bidding war between you and Gary, and by bidding war, I mean the person who can probably act on using it right now the most. So
well, I just need to get you drunk and steal it from you. Is my understanding?
I'll give it. Like I bought it. Like if you don't take it, what I will probably do is just return the whole thing to Amazon and wait for it to get cheaper. But like if you want it, I will give it to you, and then you just have to buy the game. I would recommend you do it on Steam, but it'll totally work on your PS3 too.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And if you do it on Steam, you'll be able to play it on your laptop while somebody else watches TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
very
See,
cool.
I know how to sell giving you this free thing. So,
yeah.
So being
that
you have a base, I think that you would be the one who could most benefit from this right now. So yeah, we'll text. We shouldn't handle this on the air.
Yeah.
Cool. Who wants to go next?
Go
ahead.
Go.
Okay, I mentioned mine earlier. I've got 2 things I've been playing. The first one is Poker Night at the Inventory 2. And this has Sam from Sam and Max. So it's a poker game.
Yeah. Yep.
The 4 contestants that you're playing with are Sam from Sam and Max, who's the dog, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. Got that one right. Jesse Venture, who's the one who's voiced by Kronk from Emperor's New Groove.
But wait a
Yes?
minute.
Puggy
No,
from
it's not.
Seinfeld.
You're talking about Brock Sampson.
God damn. Okay, yeah, not Jesse Venture. Yeah. Yeah.
Jesse Ventura is a wrestler
Jesse
and a
Ventura?
governor.
Oh yeah. I don't know where that came from. Yeah, so Brock Sampson is one of the contestants. Claptrap from Borderlands, and then Ash from Evil Dead. I was going to say Living Dead. Yeah, Ash from Evil Dead. And those are the four contestants that you're playing poker with. And the dealer in the most perfect dealer ever is GLaDOS from Portal, which is amazing.
And who's the bartender?
Oh God, the bartender is Moxie from Borderlands.
Borderlands.
Yeah, yeah, and at its heart, it's just your basic poker sim, right? You know, you play Texas Hold'em against four computer opponents. Nothing more difficult than that. The real fun of the game is the fact that there are these very full-bodied, in-depth conversations between the four characters that happen while you're playing, just like you would if you had a real poker night with friends, where as you're playing cards, they're just talking about random things that are happening in their lives or going on or disagreeing over certain points, and it's all just incredibly entertaining. And the reason I bring it up now, I tried it a long time ago, just did one game, and you know, had fun with it, but you know, and enjoyed the conversations. There's a lot of comedy there, obviously, between all these different characters, but didn't think, you know, too much of it. I went back on a lark to play it again, and the thing that blew me away is that it didn't just start running all the same conversations over again.
Right.
The conversations actually picked up from where I left off in the last game.
Yeah.
And it was like on the level of like, hey, last week you said you were going to do XYZ for me. Were you able to find that thing? And oh, no, I forgot about it. Sorry, I got distracted by this. And like, I was sitting there going, no way. Like, this is awesome. And, you know, what I always say is I am a poker god when you're playing with play money. And then the second real money gets on the table, I just fall to pieces. It's the same thing here. So it's a way for me to get my poker fix in a very low stakes way, that also just has a ton of color and fun to it. You know, without the investment of knowing four friends who play Texas Hold'em regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it's like a fun little concept. I mean, crossovers are kind of sketchy, you know, in most cases, but like I trust Telltale to, you know, to write it well, and that is a trust that is well placed because both of them are, you know, really fun. And I don't know, like I like the characters, and
yeah,
you know, it's like poker is poker. Let's make the characters. Let's use that asset that we have access to and just have fun. You know, it's kind of like I don't know, like whenever like Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra, like whenever the Rat Pack would make a movie, it was just a bunch of them just like, you could tell they were just like standing around smoking and laughing together. And almost it almost feels like game developers, it's like Telltale letting its hair down. You know,
that's exactly right. It's like, what would be a fun backdrop for getting these four characters together? Oh, poker. That would cause them to be around a table for 3 hours. Now let's just have fun brainstorming what they would talk about. And that's the fun of playing the game, is just whether you're winning or losing, putting in the time to hear all these random funny conversations.
Yeah.
So that's a ton of fun.
Yeah. Oh, one of the waiters is from Gravity Bone.
Which one is that?
Well,
the first one?
In Poker Night 2. Sorry, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page. One of the waiters is from Gravity Bone.
I did not know this.
I don't think I could be any clearer. It's just a short cameo. It's just a short cameo.
The guy who owns the club is some captain that I didn't recognize, so I don't know if that's
from Tales of Monkey Island.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of the subtlety there that I'm probably missing because I'm not as familiar with each of those things or each of those universes that the characters come from as I could be, or Telltale games in general. But
the iPad version is pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good poker game on the iPad that has Brock Sampson in it. So
yeah, yeah, he's got some of my favorite dialogue. But anything spoken by that voice actor is
Patrick Warburton, man.
Oh my God, yeah, the man. If I could just have his voice on loop all the time, I'd be a happy man.
I loved the Archer episodes where it was Patrick Warburton and Sean Benjamin just trying to outgruff each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, he was in Seinfeld as well. He was Putty.
Yep.
Oh,
and he was the Tick.
Yep, I was gonna say I wanted to look that up because that seems like a thing that if I got it wrong, then people would be very upset with me. But yeah,
it's a very small fan base, but it's a very psychotic fan base.
I feel like
that's how we roll.
I feel like fans of the Tick and fans of this show actually that's a pretty tight Venn diagram. I feel like that's a safe assumption. So
yeah. But if you have even a passing familiarity with poker and you like these characters, this game is worth your time.
Nice.
Yeah.
What else?
The other thing I've been playing is on Vita, which is Stealth Inc. or Stealth Incorporated, which is this interesting Splinter Cell meets Super Meat Boy game. So it's a 2D platformer. There's lots and lots of bloody deaths. Everything kills you in one hit. But it's all couched in this idea that you are a clone stealth person thing with Splinter Cell glasses. With very overt Splinter Cell glasses. Trying to
like
stealth your way.
Straight up Predator? Like you have different modes and stuff?
Well, no, just straight up like glowing green. If you were hiding in shadows, they would stick out horribly, but hey, they look cool. Glasses.
But hey, it's a way for us to let you know where you're at.
Exactly, yeah.
Is this the same game as Stealth Bastard?
Yeah, same game. They had to rename it because apparently apparently people don't want to buy games that have Bastard in the title.
Well, there's such a long list of games like that, such as the
Sin City game, That Yellow Bastard.
Yeah, there you go.
Deep cuts. Yeah, but yes, you are correct, David. In fact, whenever I go to say Stealth Inc., I almost always initially say Stealth Bastard.
Well, especially now that there's a game called Invisible Inc., like Invisible Incorporated, get it, which is a turn-based stealth game, which is I have no idea how that works.
That sounds kind of cool.
I've seen very little about it, but apparently it was just an absolute darling of PAX East. So go figure.
So 2 points. That is 2 turn-based stealth games, and okay. So the B, and then 1. You just said ha.
I did.
Yeah.
I apologize for saying that.
I'll edit it in so you can hear it again. So
ha.
The moral of the story is when Dennis gets sufficiently drunk, he turns into what, a pirate?
Maybe, I don't know.
Dark. Yes, that.
But Stealth Inc. It's good.
It's fun. I think the it's just a 2D platformer at heart. Lots of quick fun, so it's very easy to just jump in for 30 seconds, play a level, and be done. My complaint is that the puzzle-solving elements almost feel in contradiction with the Super Meat Boy-esque platforming elements. So there's one side of it, which is, hey, how do I combine all these elements together to distract the cameras at the right time so I can sneak through? Mm-hmm. And that's fine. I'm love me some puzzle games, and puzzling all that out is a lot of fun. But then there's also this element of platforming and skill-based, moving quickly to it as well. And you just almost have to accept that you are going to slowly get through a level by playing to a point, dying, stopping and thinking about how you could do it right, getting through that, then dying at the next obstacle, and then figuring out how to get past that, and then dying at the next obstacle, and then figuring out how to get past that. There's no scenario, or maybe I just suck at video games, I don't know, but there's no scenario in which you can get through a level perfectly on the first try. You almost have to die to each of the traps to understand how to get around it. and that inherently slows you down, and kind of, like I said, that feels at odds with the kinetic nature of the game.
Yeah, so it's not just enough to plan; you have to execute on it too.
Exactly, and it's too hard right now to do that on the fly. It's too hard for me to plan and execute on the fly. Maybe I'll get to that point. Maybe it's just a skill that I will develop. Both of them work very well in their own right, but I'm not good enough at both of them at the same time to maintain the level of momentum, I'll call it, that I would like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it also is going to be my go-to game. I've obviously still been playing Dark Souls 2. Been doing a lot of the multiplayer in Dark Souls 2, so both Sunbrowing and then Bellkeeper Covenanting, I guess, is the verb form of that. And while I am waiting for summons, which has been frustratingly long at sometimes, you can just whip out the Vita, play a little bit of Stealth Inc., and then, I'm getting summoned in. I'll, go do some Dark Souls, and once that encounter is over, I will whip back out the Vita while I wait for my next summon. So it's a nice little loop I've got going on. Yeah. So that's what I've been playing.
Yeah, I thought that I had that on a Humble Bundle, but I guess that I don't. So, womp womp.
Yeah.
Let's see here, David. You wanted to go too. Go.
Yeah. So the main thing I've actually been doing, I picked up Elder Scrolls Online.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's a really, really, really interesting game. It's I kind of feel weird playing it because I have no background to speak of in the Elder Scrolls series.
Did you not play...
Say that again?
Did you not play any of the preceding games?
I played Scrim and disliked it
Skyrim.
A great deal. Maybe. Yeah, so I played that one and disliked it a great deal. And actually, I played both Oblivion and Morrowind I own and played it a little bit, but I've never gotten anywhere in any of them. And so this game's set like 1,000 years before those games.
Taking the EverQuest Adventures route.
Right, exactly. Which I... apparently, like, all fantasy worlds are set in, just stuck in the medieval era.
Yep.
Because I think, 1,000 years before, the real Middle Ages would be what? The Iron Age? Maybe Bronze Age?
1,000 years before the actual medieval era would probably be, Christ. Walking around with, with your Christ bros.
True. Okay. Well,
Christ Bros is my favorite new Dark Souls covenant.
Yeah, a little bit on the nose with the Gwyn imagery. Way of white.
Actually, I suppose that is kind of accurate because one of the factions is basically Roman clones.
Yeah.
So.
The Imperials.
Yeah, which I've never... I don't know, how did I not realize before that each of the races is pretty blatantly based on some culture?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of weird. I know I talked to Jala, and she played the beta and was very unimpressed. But I know whenever I played the any of the Elder Scrolls games, I always felt like, this would be a great game, but it really needs to be an MMO. So I'd be interested to see if it ends up being a game that, everyone that doesn't like Elder Scrolls likes. But, so, in terms of the game itself, though, it's kind of got, kind of has the Elder Scrolls, the Skyrim style combat where, left click is attack, right click is guard. So it's a little bit more, actual action-y than most games. And the other weird thing about it is your class determines, your kind of core set of skills, but then you can use whatever weapon and armor you want with any class.
Right.
So, like, I could play... Well, I am playing as the warrior, and I can, like, equip a restoration staff and start healing people.
Yeah, that's very much in line with the rest of the series.
Yeah. So it seems like they're really trying to take the Elder Scrolls experience and translate it into a working MMO. So that's kind of cool. But the big thing for me is, I've been I got over the weekend. So the last couple of days I've been kind of trying to think. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it really emphasizes much more. It's much more open worldy than say like World of Warcraft, whereas like World of Warcraft, everything just kind of fit together a little bit too well.
Okay.
And it was very much like, everything very clearly had a purpose, and one quest would kind of lead to another, and it was just a little bit too logical and compact to be a believable world.
Maybe too directed.
Yeah.
Contrived. Yeah.
Say that again?
Contrived.
Yeah. Whereas really, like, the vibe I get when playing Elder Scrolls Online, and maybe this is just wishful thinking, is very much like the original EverQuest. It's just much more just, here's this big world, just have fun, run around and make your way.
Yeah.
So not necessarily wanting to be streamlined yet.
Right.
So it's not like fast traveled into oblivion. Like it's not, it's easier to fly from one city to the other than it is to walk from one to the other, even if it might take less time to walk. Like, you're not just autopiloting between place and place. Is that...
Right. I mean, there is fast travel, but it's more just kind of the way the world's put together. It's hard to explain, but the world just feels much bigger. And so it's much more... It seems much more viable and much more encouraged to just kind of wander along the mountains until you find something cool.
How aggressively instanced is it?
That's actually their other big, and probably technologically their biggest selling point. In terms of like straight up instances, it's actually surprisingly uninstanced.
In that you're sharing most of your space with other players,
right? And like it's it's sort of the Guild Wars 2, where it's like everything is innately a group thing. So like anytime you're fighting anything, if someone runs over and starts helping you kill it, they'll get credit. So that overall that works well. The one place where that works very poorly is treasure chests are first come, first serve, and you have to do a lock-picking minigame to get into them. So that, in general, is kind of annoying that you're fighting over them. However, probably the most asinine thing someone can do is sit there, wait for you to pick the lock, and then grab this stuff before you can get it.
Oh, man.
Oh.
That's just, I mean, I'm sure that'll be patched out, but that's just incredibly, incredibly stupid.
So, I mean, what it's like is back in the day with like EverQuest, where you just had to have, an honor system, and they had a /roll command.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. To actually roll a dice to see who went. There was a tremendous amount of civility to those days.
Oh yeah, and maybe that's some of why you get the EverQuest vibe. Maybe it's the fact that there's cat people and lizard people.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's EverQuest as hell. Yeah.
But the other interesting thing they do with instances is their big thing. They try to do much more. Well, basically, what it comes down to is if you make a change in the game world, that change will actually be permanent. And so the way you see the game world isn't necessarily the way everyone else sees the game world. So, like, one of the starting cities, basically you do this quest line where, the opposing faction is preparing for a invasion, and you're, getting everyone organized and, getting them ready to escape. And eventually, eventually the faction does attack. So, like, in my game world, I now see the city as just this burning ruin that I'm running around, whereas, like, a new player will just see a city there.
Huh.
Similarly, like, if you resolve a conflict, say, diplomatically, enemies that at one point would attack you on sight will stop doing that, even though they'll still attack other players on sight.
Hey, dude, how you doing? Oh, hold on. I got to attack your friend real quick. Be right back. I want to hear how your weekend went.
And so all of these are like, so you're seeing the same world. It's not like in Cataclysm where you would be running around in a ghost town because everybody had gotten the city beyond when the werewolves took over.
Right. It's sort of this weird, like, hybrid where, I mean, it's doing what Cataclysm's doing, except that it's showing everyone it at the same time.
Weird. So, like, my reference point for this is in EverQuest Shadows of Luckland, there was a zone called Hollowshade Moor, where there were 3 factions of monsters that you could aid, and, there actually was, like, a turf war, and each server had... eventually the entire zone taken over by one monster or the other. And so, This sounds like a different thing than that.
Although in this case, it could be a different monster for each person.
Weird.
The other thing they do with this is they try to pull in kind of the moral choice type of thing where at certain points you'll have decisions as to how you go forward. So I just got to the first real big one in that. I haven't gotten a chance to do it, but I will say one of the smaller ones I really liked is when I was doing the evacuation of the city. Basically, like, you're being followed by every NPC you've helped in a mission so far. And so that was kind of cool because, like, I really, took the time to do all the side quests. So I had, like, literally, like, this group of, like, 20 civilians I'm escorting out.
Nice.
So that was just kind of... It's really written to be, like, to purposely emphasize the cool things you do.
Yeah. So, and that's important. Like, how do you balance... a world that everybody shares with also making each individual player feel like a hero, Right.
And I will say that is I feel like the one inherent weakness in this, particularly in the moral choice thing, is like the one I have now is basically like, they're attacking both the docks and the fort. Which one do you help? Mm-hmm. And I feel like the inherent problem with that is the fact that I know my character has, like, hero power where whichever one I go to will win.
Whereas before, it's like... So it takes all the drama out of it. It becomes just a binary choice rather than this heart-wrenching decision of...
Yeah.
Well, and I feel like also it's basically me directly choosing, like, who do I want to live, as opposed to being like... maybe a scenario where it's like, oh, you chose to help with the undefended docks, but that was such a lost cause that your help is completely meaningless. But without your help, the fortress fell too, so you lost both.
You done fucked up.
Yeah, it's a thing where it's very much like in this case, one of the big NPC families that you've helped through a number of missions, her sons are manning the fort, whereas her daughter joined the militia to help defend the guard. So it's basically what it boils down to is, do you save the sons or the daughters?
We're running up on time here.
Sure.
Do you have any wrap up thoughts on that before we throw off to bed?
It's really good. The only other thing I'll say, I won't go into this. The crafting is actually real good. It kind of does the Skyrim style crafting. But each race, the same armor will look different when they craft it, and you can learn to craft the other races' styles, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So
good crafting. Gotta have it.
So, do you expect to be playing this for a long time to come?
I don't know. I kind of picked it up. My excuse, it's my guilty pleasure that I needed. Sorry. I needed a game to test out my Mac, is what I'm arguing. And also, it's the end of the quarter, so I wanted to play something. The problem is that WildStar is coming out in, 2 months? And that's a MMO I've also been waiting for a long time. So we shall see.
Cool.
Neat. Ben, what you been playing?
Surprise! I haven't played anything.
Oh, wow. It's like
That's
Christmas.
the turn. M. Night Shyamalan. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's why you didn't chime in.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. I have played Poker Night 2. I don't know if I've talked about it or not, but it's a fun game. But
when did you play it?
A couple months ago or so.
Oh, I have no recollection of that.
Yeah.
That's your idea, is keeping secrets from us.
Yeah, I got other podcasts on the side,
You're living a secret double life.
Yeah.
You guys, I have 6 other podcasts.
Oh, God.
I feel so betrayed.
You have one for every day of the week, Cole.
Something like that.
Do you literally record one a day?
No.
You double up?
Yeah, mostly it's doubled up.
Ben,
Yeah.
do you realize there's 7 days in the week?
You said 6 other, though, right?
I thought you said 6.
Yeah.
Oh, just 6? Oh,
I
I'm sorry.
I said 6 other.
Well,
okay. Apparently I don't understand English tonight.
It's
I was
fine.
going to fall back on day of rest argument, so...
Cool. You guys want to button it up?
Let's do it.
Doing it. Well, thank you so much for listening to that. That was the 58th level. We really enjoyed having you here. In terms of things to do, things you can do, I said it at the beginning, but there is a new Hexcrank article. I am intending to bolster that up. I'm calling it the Great Reconciliation, where I attempt to do more of them to catch up. So I average 2 per month. Up so far. So it was about Uninvited, and then this next one's about Waxworks, which is a little bit better than I expected it to be. And we're quickly coming up on Alone in the Dark, which is going to be good. Other than that, for this particular show, we've got the iTunes ratings and reviews. Been a minute since we had one of those, so if you could take the moment, that'd be so kind. Additionally, as we mentioned before, Facebook, and if you would like to support the network financially, go to Duckfeed.tv/tipjar and use the Amazon link there, and we get a kickback from that, and it helps us a tremendous amount. Ooh, I am also, I started a Duckfeed.tv Instagram.
Oh, hey, nice.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what the kids are doing, right? So I believe I tooted something out during the episode, but I got distracted by actually hosting the episode. But yeah, trying to do about one of those a day. Just funny little pictures. I don't know. Check it out. If you're on Instagram, it's just Duckfeed.tv, all one word.
Nice.
Neat. Cool. So let's see here. Did I miss anything?
Obviously, listen to all the other shows.
Oh yeah. Let's take it for granted.
Yeah, of course.
Well, the new after suffering is
All
pretty
at
good.
the same time.
If you're not spending all of your time with us on this network, then you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, we're going to have a stern talking to. But yeah, other stuff, I don't know, that's cool. I'm just happy to have you guys here. All of you. Listeners, co-hosts, it's all good.
Alternate personalities.
Yeah.
What? No, never mind.
I can't tell if that warm fuzzy feeling is beer or your kind words.
Cool. All right, guys, let's pump the brakes on this. Let's see here. I'm Kole Ross at Kole Ross on Twitter.
I am Dennis Furia at DFuria on Twitter.
I'm David Moneysmith at Moneysmith777.
I'm Ben Merkel at Merkelizer.
There are so many potential titles that I can't actually sign out with one, so I would just say thank you, good night, and have a good week. Hi, Ben.
Hey, sorry I didn't send a text. My phone died at work.
No, that's fine.
Poor phone.
Yeah, I'll
Held
resurrect
a
it.
little miniature funeral, put it in a shoebox, and kicked it into a swimming pool.
Set it on fire Viking style.
Oh no, threw a space heater at it.